What a Saturday we had in week 3. And I'll be honest, after the week a lot of us have had, we needed a great college football Saturday to take place, and we got it. We're going to recap all the big games. We had a major shakeup in our ATB top 12. And of course, we're going to give you all the early lines for next Saturday. This is Always Talking Ball. Tyler Noe, Lance Barton. Real quick before we get started, I mention it every episode. As always, make sure you like and subscribe on whatever platform you're tuning in on. Seriously, you guys have no idea how much work we put into this to hopefully provide some great content, entertainment for you during the week. If you could just follow, subscribe, share the pod with all your friends. I know I have some family and friends and coworkers out there that are constantly sharing the show. I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. I'm sure Lance could say the same. We can't thank you enough. Make sure you're following us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, our weekly recap episode is brought to you by Frost Buddy. I got my handy dandy Frost Buddy here, prepping for a big game that's happening in Bloomington on Saturday night against Illinois. Lance has got his Bama Frost Buddy there. They got all kinds of colleges, guys. They've got obviously Alabama, Indiana, Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Big 12, all that stuff. Best can coolers out there, better than your Yeti. I'll be honest. It could fit any size can or bottle. Keeps it cool for up to 12 hours. You need to go to frostbuddy.com/ATB, make your purchase, and they will send you a 30% cash back in the email. So frostbuddy.com/ATB. Go get yourself some Frost Buddies. Keep your drinks cool while you're watching games on Saturday. A little bit of news that happened this morning. Obviously, we're recording this on Sunday afternoon. Deshaun Foster out at UCLA. Not much of a surprise. It took Nico 3 games to get a coach fired, so that's really, really good for the old bag fumbler there. And then we got Brent Pry out at Virginia Tech, which obviously, again, no surprise. Both teams starting off 0-3. Both teams looking absolutely lifeless. UCLA losing to New Mexico at home 35-10. And Virginia Tech ever since the halftime of that Vanderbilt game, just looking again, lifeless. So Deshaun Foster out, Brent Pry out.
Yeah, I want to comment on the Virginia Tech deal just because of my fandom there and literally my entire family being from that area, and my dad being Frank Beamer's first ever quarterback in high school, Beamer's first ever job. I keep up a lot with that program and consider myself a fan of the Hokies. Been to many Virginia Tech games in Blacksburg. Had family sending me. I had family that was there at the game last night, and they were sending me. My uncle was sending me like videos and photos and stuff before the game. Place was packed. It was rocking. It was alive. And of course, Enter Sandman does its thing, and that's Kirk Herbstreit said it best last week. The only thing going at Virginia Tech in football right now is their intro and their entrance. That's the only thing exciting about Virginia Tech football right now, and that's a shame. This is a very proud program. It's a very good college football program. It is. It's. I've seen people now talking about like some names being thrown out. Like, is Virginia Tech even better than that job? Hell yeah, it's better than that. It's better than any G5 job and stuff. Like, get that out of here. But they need to hire the right guy now. Brent Pry just wasn't it. He unfortunately caught a lot of the trash that was left over in his driveway from Justin Fuente in that era. And Frank Beamer, in his tenure, when they were successful, him and his assistants absolutely owned and dominated the Tidewater, Virginia Beach area of Virginia in recruiting. Now everybody else around the country is owning that area. They've got to bring in an elite recruiter, a relentless recruiter that understands that they've got to win that state in recruiting and lock down the Tidewater, Virginia Beach area. If they do that, they can win and win at a high level in a hurry. Again, the fan base is there, the facilities are there, the resources are there, the tradition's there. They just got to hire the right guy to come in and turn that program around. And it can be turned around in a hurry, as we've seen in this new transfer portal era of college football. Brent Pry's a good dude and all that, but yeah, just about winning games, man. You can't get your cheeks clapped by Old Dominion on your home freaking field, and that can't happen, man. And so back to the drawing board for the Hokies.
Yeah, we got plenty of time, obviously months to talk about, who could take that job, but
Yeah.
throwing out a name, how about your boy John Sumrall
That's
from
it. That
Tulane?
that's where it starts and ends for me. It's where it
Yeah.
starts and ends for me at this point.
And
Now,
people say, "Oh, Tulane's a better job." Like, just
eh,
because Tulane would probably beat Virginia Tech this year doesn't make it a better job.
not at all, man. And there's some other jobs too that are even in the Power 4 that I believe are better than the current situations that they're in, as opposed to you can make the college football playoff at Virginia Tech, especially if they're going to go to 16 teams here soon.
Mhm.
But either way, you can win there and win there in a hurry if you make the right hire. But yes, as of right now, fresh on my mind on Sunday afternoon, the dude was just like fired 5 seconds ago. If you just right now, like, who you got to hire? John Sumrall. That's it.
Yep.
Uh, and there's some other high profile assistants out there, but like you said, for time purposes, and like we got a long time to talk about it. Right now, as we see here today, it's John Sumrall is who I would go after if I'm the athletic director at Virginia Tech.
Alright, let's talk some Saturday ball. Gosh, we could start anywhere. We could start in any one of these games we're gonna talk about,
Yeah.
but let's start off in Knoxville. Georgia went to Tennessee, won for the ninth time in a row, 44-41 in overtime. They did not cover. We both were sitting on Georgia minus 3.5. That was brutal. We knew that was gonna happen. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just honestly, feel bad for Tennessee fans. I mean, they just and it's going to be obviously they're not in our top 12. Like we'll put out, the new all podcasters poll, going out later this week. I'm not going to knock them out of the top 25 because, like,
No.
it's the same thing with Notre Dame. It's like they lost on like with the kid missing a field goal, right? I mean, 42-yard field goal, the same one he absolutely drilled in overtime. But let's start off with Georgia here. I mean, again, the fifth time in a row they've come into this game. They start off trailing by 7, by 10 points, whatever it is. Kirby figures it out. He goes to halftime. He is the most elite adjustment maker in college football when it comes to halftime adjustments.
Yep.
And Gunnar Stockton's not the most talented guy in the world. Obviously, they brought in Ryan Puglisi to throw that Hail Mary at the end of the first half. So they know Stockton doesn't have an arm on him, a great arm, but he's got that dog in him, right? I mean, incredible throw for a touchdown, back shoulder throw on fourth down. He made many other plays. They were running the ball. They won in spite of Mike Bobo's play calling often. But again, same old, same old. I mean, they didn't cover, but again, Kirby is still Tennessee's daddy.
Yep, it pretty much came down to, Tennessee again. They're like just like you said it, man. Georgia they just know how to win, dude, in these
Yep.
bigger games. Uh, Stockton made just some. I'm just gonna go unfiltered here, bro. Put your nuts on the table and make that type of a play. That's literally what Gunnar
Feeling
Stockton was
icy on
doing.
a Sunday afternoon.
It is, yeah, but that's literally what Gunnar Stockton did, bro. That's what Georgia did in that fourth quarter, to go win that game. Like they took an absolute haymaker to the jaw, man, early on, down 21-7 in that hostile environment. And bro, it reminded me of the movie Cinderella Man when Russell Crowe just takes a shot and he just stands there and just smiles and goes
Yep.
and picks up his mouthpiece and puts it back in. That's literally what Gunnar Stockton and Kirby Smart and Georgia defense, like they had a knockout punch delivered to them early and they just stood there, smiled, and said, "Is that it?" And put their mouthpiece back in and said, "Let's dance." And like Georgia overall, like I agree. Like I understand now when I'm sitting here backing Georgia on a bet, where the frustration comes from in regards to Mike Bobo. Just I know they scored 44 points, so I'm not saying Mike Bobo did a terrible job. There was just some very conservative play calling, and they had the chance to go up 2 scores on Tennessee there in the third quarter. And instead of doing that, they played conservative, kick field goals, got their first and goal like deep in Tennessee territory. Like they had like at the 2 yard line or something. And again, they're just running up the middle and just kick a field goal. But again, this game for me came down to Gunnar Stockton made plays. He didn't make a bunch of mistakes. He didn't throw any interceptions. He had that strip sack fumble, but like I don't really necessarily put that on him. That's just
I
Tennessee.
put that on the Georgia O line, who I'm
Right.
I'm still I'm still very nervous about.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Georgia's O line still the jury's out. The jury's still out with them, no doubt about it. But we talked about the Georgia receiving core, man, before the year, that they've definitely gotten better at that spot. I didn't have a bunch of guys put up just like massive numbers like Chris Brazzell did for Tennessee with 6 catches, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Tennessee. But like Colby Young made some good, solid plays. Zach Branch, again, we call him Zach or Zachariah now.
I don't know, man. Fowler was going. He was going. Calling an audible with the Zach Branch stuff.
I'm just gonna call him Zach too. Then if Fowler's calling him Zach, I think we should. I mean, he kind of is like maybe he's one of our boys anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe Zach's a big fan of ATB and he's cool with us calling him Zach instead of Zachariah. But he made some plays. We made kind of like a jest, like joke early on one of our reels that we put out on one of our episodes, like throw another bubble screen, Bobo, throw another quick screen, Bobo. Like Georgia fans always complain, and I said if you're gonna throw a bubble screen, throw that bad boy to Zach Branch.
Yeah.
Get the rock in the hands of Zach Branch. And they did that multiple times, and it led to big plays,
Yeah.
including a long touchdown play for Zach Branch in that game. But this came down to, no doubt, the adjustments, man, like you said. Georgia majorly adjusted there, kind of even in the second quarter, and especially at halftime. And they slowed that Tennessee running game down, man. Like Tennessee's running game is lethal against just about everybody that they play. And it just flat out is not against Georgia. And Georgia, again, like they held them to, like, I think Tennessee had like 34 carries for 125 yards. I mean, yeah, they had 125 yards rushing, but that's not what Tennessee's used to on 34 carries.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like that Tennessee lost this game, man, when they went up 35-30 there in the fourth quarter. And then they got a strip sack fumble on Stockton, and they got the ball around the UGA 30-yard line with about 6 minutes to go in the game. They had a chance to put that game away, to go for the throat. And I'm just shocked, man. Heupel chose to literally run up the middle with the same dude, Sean Bishop, 3 straight plays and kick a field goal. Like he was scared to death. Like in my opinion, I think he was scared to death at Aguilar because he'd already thrown 2 picks and he had multiple other ones that could have been picked. And they decided to kick a field goal, make it an 8-point game. And Georgia does what great teams do. They left that door slightly cracked, and Georgia just busted it wide open, went down the field and scored. And I don't know what was going on there at the end on the missed field goal. Like I know they had the false start penalty. I saw some people saying like Heupel should have just let the clock run and went in and kicked. Well, yeah, hindsight's 2020. Like you don't think you're going to sit there and false start at that moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So I'm not blaming Heupel for, that moment. Like, you're sitting there at home. There's no crowd noise you're dealing with or whatever. You know the snap count. Don't false start.
Yeah.
But like you said, man, Georgia knows how to win these games. It looks like Tennessee just doesn't at the moment. I thought Aguilar played really well, especially early on. For him to come back like he did, dude, after he threw those picks, and made some big time throws still. I thought he played really well, man, considering who he was going up against and the defense he was going up against, the moment that he was in. And I was impressed with the fact that he struggled, had some turnovers, and then he came back from that and still played well. But I'm with you on Tennessee. Like, let me ask you the question. Are you more impressed with Tennessee after yesterday's game, or are you more impressed with them after the Syracuse game week 1?
That's what I was going to ask you. Same thing. I mean, does this change your mind on Tennessee at all? Kind of like
I
what
like
you
them
thought
more.
about them. Yeah.
Yeah, I like their team more. I think they're better. They're better than what I thought they were going to be going into the year. Like we had them as a college football playoff sleeper because of their schedule and because we still respect Josh Heupel and their roster enough to where we looked at it and said, I mean, yeah, I could see 10-2 on that schedule. I could see that. And obviously it's tougher now losing this home game in Knoxville to Georgia. But again, you look at their schedule, bro. They've lost 2 games in the last 3 years at home in Knoxville. Both of them have been to Georgia. Every other game they've held serve at home and they've won. If they can find a way to split Alabama and Florida and then hold serve at home, they've got a shot, man, to be a 10-2 team there at the end of the year. But I mean, is that likely at this moment? I'm not sure I would sit here and put money on it that I think Tennessee's going to go 10-2, but I do think that there is a path to it I'm right now thinking more of a 9-3 team, but I was left more impressed with Tennessee after that game than I was going into the game. And that's what we mean to a lot of you folks when we say that, well, just because somebody wins means that they're better as far as not head to head, but I mean like in the rankings and whatnot. I'm more impressed that Tennessee went toe to toe with Kirby Smart and that Georgia Bulldogs team than I am because they beat some G5 team the week before to death or because they beat Syracuse week one. No disrespect to Syracuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, with their schedule, um, they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt if they're 9-3 because, of course, those two losses would likely be to Alabama and Florida. So you look at the schedule and you say, where's the big win at?
I agree.
So 10 wins could get them in the discussion for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think that obviously the sky is the limit for Georgia. I think they're in pretty good shape. I think they have a chance to. It's just, I mean, I kind of like I was frustrated with Georgia yesterday, but I was like, man, if they had the same roster of guys and they didn't have Kirby Smart as their coach, I would think they would be like a 7 or 8 win team every year. Like that's how valuable I think that guy is as a head coach and the head of a program, and just the adjustments he can make. It really is unbelievable. So that's a big win for Georgia in my mind. Big win for Gunnar Stockton. Biggest win in his
Huge,
young
huge
career.
win for him, dude. Again, you didn't. It did not look like that was his first road
Yeah,
start. And to think, man, like I've been there many times, dude. For that guy to have his first road start in that place, in that atmosphere, like I don't care if you hate Tennessee, if you like Tennessee, whatever that may be. Everybody turns on the television, even if you haven't been there, and you can just watch a game on television and see that that place is nuts and is so hard to win at. That's the reason why they've only got 2 losses at home
yeah,
in the last 3 years. It's so hard to win there. And Gunnar Stockton just did it and did it in a big way. Like he was the reason that they won that game. Like Kirby Smart's adjustments and Gunnar Stockton's play, not making mistakes and making huge plays down the stretch there in that fourth quarter and in overtime was the reason that Georgia won that football game. So I'm with you. Georgia's only going to get better from here, bro. They ain't going to get worse, barring injuries. But I mean, that's anybody. Like if a team loses a bunch of players, yeah, they're probably going to get worse. But Georgia's only going to get better from here, man.
yeah. Late last night, after nearly 4 hours of play, Texas A&M walks out of Notre Dame Stadium with a 41-40 victory. Very peculiar score, and we'll get to that here in a second. But with A&M, we talked about it all off season. We put Casey Concepcion in our top, receivers. We mentioned Mario Craver,
A
but it's
lot.
pretty clear after three games that Mario Craver is Marcel Reed's go-to.
Yep.
And I texted you this last night. I don't think any position group in the country has had a bigger upgrade than Texas A&M wide receivers, considering where they were last year, and who they had catching the ball for them last year. And then you throw in the running game. I don't know why Le'Veon Moss, every time the ball gets inside the 5, I don't know why he doesn't get every touch, because he's had like 8 career carries that have lost yards. Like all he does is fall forward.
Yep.
So anytime it's inside the 5, just give him the ball. You got that offensive line out there that is very, very impressive. We'll talk about Notre Dame's defensive line, but offensive line didn't give up any sacks. Obviously, Marcel Reed's elusiveness helps with that too. Texas A&M defense obviously has some issues,
Yep.
but they went up against a supposedly great defense yesterday, and the offense looked very, very good. If there's an area that you're going to think that A&M is going to improve on throughout the season, you got to think it's Mike Elko and the defense.
Yeah, I agree. A&M being as good as they are offensively, dude. This is why I talk about coordinators so much, man. What a difference. Seriously, year 2 that a lot of these coordinators around college football at a lot of these big programs, when they brought in high-profile coordinators last year, a la Blake Baker at LSU right now with what he's doing with that LSU defense. That's just one example. There's many others. And Colin Klein, what he's doing at Texas A&M. Obviously, A&M did exactly what they needed to do in this transfer portal era of college football, and they were big and they were slow at wide receiver last year overall. And they went and got just absolute burners.
However much they spent, it was money well spent.
Yeah, dude. We talked about that they were going to be explosive this year, and that they were going to be the most explosive Texas A&M offense that we've seen in a while. Had the capability of being that, and they absolutely are because of Craver, Concepcion, Bussy. Obviously, the running game with Moss and that crew, the Maroon Goons along that offensive line, like you mentioned, and then Marcel Reed's. Marcel Reed can throw it downfield, dude. He can drop back and sling it down the field. He's still got to get better at the intermediate passing game. Still puts the ball in harm's way. Sometimes he makes some plays and throws sometimes that you're like, no, 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 no. And then sometimes it turns into, oh, okay, yeah, good. We're good with that.
Mhm.
Uh, but I mean, again, they're another one, dude. He's only going to get better. Like he hasn't played a ton yet. Like I don't know how many starts it is, but it's not a ton of starts that he has so
Yeah.
far under his
Dude, it
belt.
might be time for us, I don't know, here in a couple of weeks to revisit our top SEC quarterback rankings
Oh,
and revise that thing a little bit.
100. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody does. But yeah, he's playing well. And again, as long as those weapons as Craver and Concepcion, as those two guys stay healthy, they're going to be a problem because they're only going to get better throughout the year. Le'Veon Moss, man, is still getting his legs under him from that just awful knee injury that he had last year. I agree with you. He's so good, dude.
Mhm.
And again, he's only going to get better throughout the year. Uh, and I'm with you, man, on the Notre Dame defense. Just puzzling, dude. Just puzzling. They going into the year, pretty much everybody had them as the one or two best secondaries in college football. They have not lived up to it. Uh, Granted, they've played two really good teams. They have. Uh, that's not an excuse. That's just the reality. They have. They're not going up against Akron. And no offense to anybody's catching strays here, Northwestern or Oklahoma State with a backup quarterback, or Villanova, or I'll even say it, Wisconsin with a backup quarterback. Like they're not playing those teams. They're
Mhm.
playing two really good football teams is who they played these last 2 weeks, and they got exposed. Let's just call it what it is. They have not lived up to the hype. They got exposed, and it's obvious too to me that with their front four along the defensive front, they can't consistently get pressure.
Mhm.
They're having to send
At least
extra.
not against these two offensive lines.
No, they're not. And again, they're two really good offensive lines. Everybody going into the year thought that A&M. Again, who knows if we all know what we're talking about? But we all said pretty much everybody had Miami and Texas A&M both top 10 offensive lines in the country coming into the year because of all the production that they were bringing back. And yeah, the defensive line for Notre Dame just flat out didn't look great. Had some busted coverages in the secondary, missed tackles, things that you're just not used to seeing with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough through 2 games. Just seeing some things from Chris Ash that makes you scratch your head a little bit, like,
Mhm.
sending Leonard Moore on a corner blitz, best coverage guy, one of the best coverage guys in the country, and you're gonna take him out of coverage and send him on a blitz. I mean, um, yeah, I don't know. It is puzzling. Offensive wise, I mean, they came out, they did exactly what everyone wanted them to do against Miami, and they gave the ball to Jeremiah Love. They gave the ball to Jadarian Price. Maybe a little too much at times. And they were doing some trickery with the direct snap. I'm like, I get it, but a lot of those, some of them worked, some of them didn't. You clap for Denbrock when it works, you hate him when it doesn't. Um, it was confusing that they ran CJ Carr like Riley Leonard against Miami and did quarterback counters and draws and down by the goal line. But then when it was 4th and 1, they wouldn't do that. They try to do the direct snap to Love. Like, you just bring in Jadarian Price, let him run right behind that offensive line. They were getting push. Um, Again, it was through 6 quarters. Will Pauling and Jaden Greathouse had 0 catches. Will Pauling finally got a couple in the second half. It still looks like they're trying to figure out their identity on offense, trying to figure out what they want to do.
Yep.
And that's frustrating for Notre Dame fans, I'm sure, because I turned on at the same time. Cal was playing Minnesota last night. Big win over Minnesota for Cal. And you got JKS out there just heaving the ball all over the place. Like, it seems like Cal has more of an offensive identity than Notre Dame does.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that is a problem. They're stuck in between. Do we want to be let's pound it with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, or do we want to turn it loose with CJ Carr? And I honestly just think the answer is they have the ability to push the ball down the field now with these wide receivers and with Carr. They're not doing it enough. And it needs to be run the rock with Love and Price and let's play action off of that to these receivers. And it just like you said, they're stuck in an identity crisis with that. No question. Don't
Yeah.
disagree.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're gonna agree with me or not. I'm not pulling the plug on their college football playoff hopes just yet. Obviously, because it depends on everything else that happens around them. I almost pulled the plug on them after week 2 last year after they lost to Northern Illinois. We learned our lesson there. This is obviously a different situation, different scenarios. We don't know how records and wins and all that stuff is going to look towards the end of the year. Um, they could rattle off 10 wins in a row here, and you'll look at that list and you're like, all right, who's and right now USC's easily the toughest opponent they have. I would be shocked if USC didn't pop into the top 25. Um, if not this week here soon. I mean, AP top 25 should be coming out here as we record this. Arkansas is another team at Arkansas. It's going to be a tough game. Other than that, very winnable games. Um, and you're also talking about, I know they didn't win either of the games. You're talking about losing on a last second field goal and losing because Tyler Buckner pulled a Tony Romo and can't handle a snap. Right. So, I mean,
How
I
many
thought
years has he been in
I
college?
literally forgot Tyler Buckner was on Notre Dame until that play.
How many years has he been? Is he like a seventh year senior getting his second master's or something?
Dude, he can't. He was there. We went to Alabama. He came back. He played lacrosse. He's back on the football team. I mean, he held plenty of balls last night. And then I honestly would hate to be him right now.
Yeah.
Because he didn't lose the game for him, but it's a classic case of like, yeah, everyone saw your mistake.
If you were
Who knows? I mean, A&M could have went down and scored and went for 2 and won 42-41,
if
right?
you were playing
So
if you were playing a drinking game last night, how many times can NBC show Tyler Buckner?
yeah,
We wouldn't be recording this right now because we'd be hungover. But yeah,
if you could guess, if you looked at him on TV, would be like, man, that guy used to play a quarterback from Notre Dame and Alabama.
yeah,
There's no way.
yeah, exactly. I'm not burying them yet. I'm not. But they absolutely are now. Like I said, going into this game,
They're gonna need
their
some help.
their fate is now in the hands of others.
And
They
the
were
committee, it's in the hands
Yep,
of obviously Miami and A&M probably being playoff teams. It's in the hands of Arkansas getting better, USC, NC State continuing to win, Pitt rebounding from their loss in the
yep,
backyard brawl, all
yep.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah, their hands
You
are
don't want to be there.
their fate is in everybody else's hands now. All they can control is they just got to go out and win and play well, as far as they're concerned. But at this point now, their fate is now in the hands of the committee and of, like you said, other teams around them and what they're doing. And they'll be one of those teams that everybody will be talking about come selection Sunday there at the end of the year. No question.
Yep. All right, let's get to a little ACC action, man. What a game down in Atlanta. Georgia Tech beats Clemson 24-21 on a fire drill walk-off field goal, 55 yards. Guy just pounded it through the uprights.
Bomb.
The Jackets came out hot, went up 13-0. Clemson, again, early game struggles for the third week in a row. To their credit, bounced back,
Yep.
took the lead 14-13, kind of waffled from there, ended up 21-21, and Haynes King, methodical as ever, slow pace. They weren't rushed at all. They knew exactly what they were doing. Buster Faulkner knew exactly where he had to get to. Brent Key was calm. I mean, it's almost like they had done this a million times before as underdogs because they have. I think that's 12 outright wins as underdogs now for Brent Key. 24-21 Jackets.
Well, it was the Haynes King show for Georgia Tech again on offense. I mean, the dude was efficient throwing the football, 20 for 28, get 25 carries for over 100 yards rushing and rushing touchdown. Just controlled the game well offensively. And again, man, like I give up now trying to figure out and understand what's going on with Clemson's offense and Cade Klubnik.
Yep.
Just don't get it. You know, everybody had that offense as going to be one of the best in the country this year. but there's receivers coming back. And I know they've got an injury there, but still, they've got other really good wide receivers there. Multiple offensive linemen back. And I know they had some guys out injured, but still, they should. Klubnik now in his third year as a starter in this Garrett Riley system, this offense should be better than what it is. It just flat out should be. And it's just disappointing now. And I'm just, I normally don't do this on here, but I'm just going to be very blunt and to be very honest. Until proven otherwise, Clemson right now is the definition of a paper tiger. Every good team that they've played for the last 3 or 4 years, every really good team that they've played, they lose. They're like 0-5 their last 5 games against SEC opponents. They lose now to Georgia Tech. I think their best win in the last 3 or 4 years would be the ACC championship game against SMU last year. And if you're Clemson, if that's what you're claiming as your best win in the last 3 or 4 years, that's a problem. And
Yeah.
so right now, until proven otherwise, Clemson is the worst type of bully that there is that you find at any school, any high school growing up or anything like that. They're big and bad and flex those muscles and take those great 5-star athletes along that defensive line and they beat up on the middle to lower tier ACC teams. And then when they play anybody that is near their own size, when they have to pick on someone their own size, they get beat and they
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can go look at the schedule. I don't have to go through all the games, but dating back to last year and now early on this year, that's who Clemson is until they prove otherwise.
Well, you sent me this from David Hale yesterday. If Clemson doesn't get a 50-yard touchdown run with 1:16 to play versus Pitt and a 57-yard field goal as time expires versus SMU, the Tigers will be 1-7 in their last 8 games versus P4 opponents. They have not beaten a Power 4 opponent by more than 10 points since last year when they played UVA.
Okay, yeah, well that says it all there. I'm not burying Clemson at this point, but they're another one. They now have to go on the.
They got to win. They got to win the ACC championship.
Agreed. They've got to win the ACC championship. We've seen them do it before. They did it last year.
Mhm.
They absolutely can do it. They can go make the college football playoff by winning the ACC. But they've got to turn things around, man. With this offense, defense for Clemson is still very solid. They are, but they're good, and they played good enough yesterday to win that football game. That Clemson defense did. But Cade Klubnik, Garrett Riley, and this Clemson offense has to turn it around in a big way if they're going to do anything this year that a lot of people thought that they were going to do.
Yeah, they get Syracuse this week, gonna buy, and then they got UNC, Boston College, SMU. Like they should take care of those. They got Florida State. I mean, their November is Florida State, Louisville, Furman, and then South Carolina. That's probably the next time. If they lose another one before that, they're for sure out. But I think they're going to stay in the hunt. Obviously, stay in the ACC hunt, and then. But guys, ATB went head to head for the first time on this game, and I'm happy to say I'm 1-0 against Lance this year. So, I picked this game 2 months ago.
You did.
At Georgia Tech going 10-2. Just something about, you knew they were going to be underdogs, and they went from like 7-point underdogs to 3.5, almost down to like 2.5.
Yep.
And just something about Brent Key, man. Gosh, maybe it's that would. I wouldn't move from Georgia Tech to Virginia Tech, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. He's got too good of a situation that he's in right now. The transfer portal era and stuff. Yeah, he absolutely should stay where he's at. The only reason he should ever leave would be if it's a big time P4 job in the SEC or like one of the bigger boys in the Big Ten or to call. But he loves it. I'm pretty sure this is his alma mater, if I'm not mistaken. I think he played at Georgia Tech. And if they start winning at a high level, the staff that he's got there, man, they can, Max Brown said this on our show, like they got guys that they, maybe they don't get out of high school in recruiting, they go somewhere else. They could bring them back to the state of Georgia and bring them back to Georgia Tech in the transfer portal. But yeah, man, he's a G, dude. He's a certified G, no doubt about it. Buster Faulkner, hell of an offensive coordinator. Gideon, the new defensive coordinator, was a great hire. Chris Winke's been there on staff for a couple of years with him as well, QB coach. He's just done a great job, man, of just hiring the staff around them. And they're a tough out, bro. As long as Haynes King is healthy, they're a tough out against anybody right now.
They're going to be favored in every single game except for Georgia at the end of the year.
Yep.
As of right now, they got Temple, they got Wake Forest, they get a bye, they get Virginia Tech, at Duke, Syracuse, at NC State, at Boston College, Pitt. Um, they're still Georgia Tech. I mean, it's hard for me to see them going through those next,
Mhm.
6 or 7 games there, like, completely unscathed, but can you imagine if somehow Georgia Tech holds serve and they're 11-0 going into that Georgia game, like, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Yeah, they don't have. They're absolutely. There's no reason that they can't be. At this point, it's on them to lose it, to not at least go play for the ACC championship.
Yeah.
At this point, like they would have to stub their toe and slip up against somebody that they're obviously better than, and that they should beat. There are some games on that schedule that are kind of landmines or whatever you want to call it. But as long as they just take care of their business, they're going to be playing for the ACC championship at the end of the year in Charlotte, as long as they just take care of their business and win games they're supposed to win.
All right. ATB Top 12 time, week 4 edition. A little bit of a shakeup. We were moving teams around. We didn't really talk about it much on text message on why we had teams where. So this is our time to do that. So Lance, let's run it down, man.
All right, number one, I guess same as last week, and until they probably lose, will probably still be there. That's Ohio State, the defending national champs.
It,
Buckeyes.
it was 13-9 with the Bobcats there late in the third quarter.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. They play with their food a little bit. Like honestly, man, we see that a lot now with a lot of these teams. Just I don't know if it's where we're at as far as transfer portal era is concerned. I can't remember who it was recently was talking about exactly that. Like you used to always see teams like in games like that they would win 50 something to whatever
Mhm.
the joyless murder ball
Yeah.
type stuff. Just absolutely destroy teams like that. But in today's college football, like you just don't see it as much or as often. But yeah, we got the Buckeyes at number one. Number two, LSU. I believe
I had them at number 2.
you had them at number two. I had them
Yeah.
at number three.
Yep.
And honestly, the reason I had them at number, we'll just go ahead and say it. Number three, we've got Miami. And you had Miami at three, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So honestly, I had Miami at two because I've just thoroughly impressed, man, what they've done 3 weeks into this year. Uh, I'll say it. Nobody's playing better at quarterback right now than Carson Beck. He's the best quarterback in college football right now, in my humble opinion, through 3 weeks of the season. And yeah, I know you're not the biggest fan, but all of the people out there that just spent an entire offseason just slandering Carson Beck, y'all are real quiet right now. Real hard to find right now. I've even seen some of you on X here lately just talking about how good he's been his whole career, that people should have seen this coming. And you were one of the main ones that were sitting there just bashing him all off season because he drives a Lamborghini and he had a hotter girlfriend than you did at one point. And he had more money than you did. Just amazing to me that you thought that guy was going to go play in Shannon Dawson's offense and just be booty.
There's something about his face.
Maybe it is, man. But that guy can play quarterback, and he's playing his butt off
Yeah.
down there in Miami right now on that Shannon Dawson offense with those weapons. And again, watching them against South Florida yesterday, dude, the play calling, the offensive system for Shannon Dawson is so good, man. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, but Miami spanked South Florida. We've got Miami at 3. We've got LSU at 2. LSU
Yeah.
took care of business at home against Florida. They were a little, I'm not going to even say sluggish. Brian Kelly, don't yell at me when I say this. They didn't look great offensively. They didn't. And I'm sure.
Don't you dare question Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I was going to say that reporter that asked that question. I mean, you just beat a rival, Florida, like that. You win. And the first question someone's asked you is, what's wrong with the offense? I kind of understand. I actually kind of understand his frustration. He just doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. Brian Kelly does, because everybody thinks he's just such a raging prick. And when he acts like that, it just gets heightened. If Kirby Smart would have done that, people would have been like cheering him on. You know what I mean? People would have been cheering him. Like, yeah, you don't question Kirby like that. Kirby's tough and stuff. Yeah, if Nick like back in the day when Saban would do that, yeah, people didn't. But when Brian Kelly does it, he's just the biggest prick. When you look at if there's the word prick in the dictionary, Brian Kelly's picture is next to it. That's what it looked like when that when when he did that to that reporter. I don't
Yeah.
maybe he shouldn't have gone off as much as he did, but still. But I want to talk more about the LSU defense, bro.
Yeah.
Unbelievable the year over year jump that Blake Baker and that LSU defense has made. Picking off DJ Lagway,
Josh
5.
Pate's number one quarterback, DJ Lagway.
Yeah. Oof. Uh, ju 5 picks, and some of them were about as, atrocious, egregious, whatever word you wanna use, that you can be. Just triple coverage,
Yeah.
you know,
Just dumb, dumb decisions.
really dumb decisions, and the look on his face in that game is the thing that I have trouble with the most. He definitely had that far away.
He
I'm
looked like he didn't care.
Yeah, he kinda had a far away, like, looked like someone that's probably just dominated everything his entire life, and he's facing adversity for really the first time, majorly, like last night, and the play I'm gonna bring it back to, he threw a pick and the guy ended up running it back for a touchdown. Lagway, if he gave 3/4 effort, could have knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah.
He jogs over there and he's in position to make the play. Just knock him out of bounds at like the 25-yard line. Maybe your defense gets a stop, holds them to a field goal. You lost by 10. What if it's a 7-point game there at the end of the game because of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of, or whatever the score would have been, instead of giving up the touchdown. But yeah, sorry, I'm going off here on a lot of this, but uh, very impressed with LSU's defense. Offensively, I mean, let me ask you the question. Are you worried greatly right now about LSU's offense?
I mean, they did get held to 13 points because they had that pick six.
Mhm.
They scored 17 points against Clemson.
Mhm.
They put up 23 against Louisiana Tech. I think it's a justifiable question.
I agree. That's why I'm asking. I am a little worried about them. Do I think they've got the talent and the QB to get it right? Yeah, I do. But 3 weeks into the season, yeah, there is. I never thought I'd say this. I don't have much questions about the LSU defense right now.
Yeah, and we knew we were going to get a very spirited effort out of Florida. We took them +9, +8.5. They didn't cover, but it was within. I mean, they were within striking distance all night. So the reason I put LSU and kept them ahead of Miami was just because I think that they're, and I'm trying to pull it up here, like where I could find it, but
Well, by the way,
they're
while you're trying to find it, that's another reason why I was even more mad at Lagway didn't just knock the dude out of bounds. We're sitting there holding a ticket of +9. And every point matters, and it was obviously a low-scoring game, and the way LSU was not moving the football well against
yeah,
Florida and the way Florida's defense was playing, they hold them to a field goal there and don't give up that touchdown. If Lagway just knocks him out of bounds, we're sitting here winning that game with as
yeah,
far as the bet is concerned.
yeah. I think, and it'll probably change after this next week, but I just think their resume is a little stronger than Miami's right now. Obviously, Miami has the win over Notre Dame, but I still think, what, 7, 8 times out of 10, if you play that USF Florida game, Florida's going to beat USF. So if you just flip that result last week, and then Florida goes in there as a ranked team, it's only 2-point loss. You go in there as a ranked team, you beat them, and then you got USF, who was 1-1 at the time with a win over Boise State, and Miami pounds them. They were still 17-point favorites over them. Like, I was kind of rationalizing and justifying in my mind there, but
I'm
obviously
gonna
the
I'm gonna
results
tell
are
you
the result.
I'm gonna tell you right now, people listening to that are gonna hate that because USF beat Florida. I know you don't care. I'm just saying USF beat Florida on the field.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got to watch the results. You got to listen to them, and you got to take them into account. As we go through this, we've got 3 data points now, and that's the data point on the field. I'm just saying, if you're looking at it from a power ratings perspective, Florida's going to be was power rated ahead of USF yesterday at that same
Yeah.
time. So they were a stronger team that LSU beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I do. I'm
So
just saying there's people listening that don't understand that and will hate that.
that people, yeah, and if they don't understand it, I can't help. I can't fix stupid.
Here you go. Okay. All right. So Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Miami 3. Miami's another one defensively, just playing a lot better football right now because of Corey Heatherman and some of the pieces they brought in during in the secondary as well. And at number 4, the Mean Machine in red and black, the Georgia Dogs. for what they did yesterday, going into Neyland Stadium, hostile environment. Like I said, took a haymaker to the jaw, down 21-7, stood there, smiled, put the mouthpiece back in, and said, "Let's dance," and took care of business. Tennessee had every opportunity to win that game and to end that streak. And I think Josh Pate said it best: when you play Georgia, you've got to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves hardly ever. It's rare
Mhm.
that they do it. And it happened again yesterday, man. Like they had the strip sack, yes, but like you said, that was more on the offensive line, just not getting a block there. But
Yeah.
overall, defense made plays, Stockton made plays, and they found a way to get it done and outlast Tennessee in that absolute just shootout. Number 5, team that climbed up our board. Now, I'll be happy to say, I don't know that I saw a poll out there. Even other podcasters' polls, AP poll. Hell, I don't even know if FPI even, and FPI normally has
I don't.
teams like
Did
this.
anybody have them as ranked as high as us going into this week?
Yeah, I don't think anybody had
Yeah.
A&M as high as we did going into this week. And now we've got Texas A&M at number 5. They've
And
definitely got some.
we're gonna still have them higher than the AP poll.
Yes, we will. They've absolutely got some things, like you said a minute ago, they have to clean up on defense. At this point, whether this is fair or not, don't care. It's my opinion. I agree with you that I think that if there is a position group and a unit on Texas A&M that I think that Mike Elko can get improved, it will be the defense. He has done so good as a defensive coordinator in his career and as a head coach with his defenses in his career that as the head coach and the guy that calls the defense for Texas A&M, they will get better defensively. If not, they probably will lose a few games. I know that the offense looks fantastic right now, but that defense has to get better if A&M is going to compete for a national championship or compete to make it like multiple playoff wins. They've got to get better on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Offensively, they're light years ahead of what anybody thought they would be at this point in the year. Like we talked about how explosive they were going to be going into the year, but that wide receiver core, that running game, that offensive line, the Maroon Goons, and Marcel Reed playing the way he's playing right now. I mean, offensively, they're just so far ahead of what we thought they were going to be. Did you have them at 5 yourself?
I had them at number 4.
You had them at number 4?
I had them have Georgia.
Okay. Well, I mean, their win on the road at Notre, that's a heck of a win.
And I mean, like I said, but going into that Notre Dame game, I had respect for them that they had played 2 like fairly quality G5 opponents in UTSA and Utah State. Utah State, we said sucked. They went and smashed Air Force yesterday, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
That's
you
what
know, I
Bronco.
just
That's what Bronco Mendenhall is now. I think. I think he's in Utah State.
yeah. Watch out for them on best bets.
Okay. All right. I love it. Number 6, the Quack Attack, the Oregon Ducks. I caught a little bit of their game against Northwestern. Dude, I don't know that I've seen a Power 4 football game that just looks more strange on the television than a Northwestern home game right
Yep.
now. With that little whatever they're playing at right there on the
12,000
water.
seat stadium right on the lake. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of it's interesting right now where they're playing. That new facility they've got, they're gonna be dope.
Yep.
But I mean, there's not much to say about Oregon, man. Just the speed, the athleticism. Dante Moore's playing lights out, playing really good college, playing really well at the quarterback position for them. He's another one. He's only going to get better in that Will Stein system. They've
Mhm.
got multiple backs that are explosive. We'll find out a lot more about Oregon here real soon in Happy Valley.
Couple weeks. Yep.
Yep. Speaking of Happy Valley, number 7, Penn State.
Yeah.
And you texted it yesterday. The group texts and everybody was piling up on Arch Manning yesterday, and you sent a text that said at that moment in time,
Mhm.
I can't, whatever he was. You says anybody want to mention Drew Aller being whatever for whatever against
Mhm.
Villanova right
Yeah.
now early in the third quarter. I'll obviously tell you like whatever the numbers were, they were terrible at
Yeah.
that time, and they ended
It
up
was like 13 for 24. Yeah.
yeah, something like it was around 50% completion at the time, but they ended up busting it open, ended up winning. We will have Penn State lower than every single other poll probably that you'll see, and we're just going to stand on the fact that play just somebody.
Here's the thing with Penn State. We don't think they suck. And the AP poll should really adopt this mentality instead of just keeping like teams in places And if you win, you just stay in that place. Like I'll give you a sneak peek at the AP poll when we're done here. They're still number 2. Dude, they don't suck. They just haven't played anybody. And Oregon went and played. You know, they played Oklahoma State. I don't care how crappy they are. They played Oklahoma State, A&M, Georgia, Miami, LSU, Ohio State. All have actually beaten great teams on the field. And Penn State just, you know, they had a 3-week preseason like the NFL does, and now they get a bye week. It's an NFL team. 3 weeks of the preseason, then you get like 14 days off, and then you get a big game at home at night against Oregon, which should be really good. But it's at home, it's at night. You should win that game. Like it's just everyone wants to talk about the whole talking point was about these guys right here and their schedule, and because they didn't play anybody in the non-conference, and like Penn State is debatably worse. Like, I think they're 134th in strength of schedule currently right now.
Yep.
It's really, really bad.
You don't hear anybody talk about it.
But they're Penn State, and they got Drew Aller, and they got Nick Singleton, and we know they are a great team, and they should be really good. They should be a playoff team this year. But they haven't done anything. So, I mean, honestly, in my mind, they should be happy they're at number 7 in our poll.
I actually agree. I was going to say you could make an argument they shouldn't even be in this top 12. But we just believe with their talent overall and their team overall and everything else that
I mean, they're 40th in strength of record right now.
Right. Yeah. They haven't played a soul. So we got Penn State at 7. Number 8, Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma. In the definition of a trap spot, of a flat spot, playing Michigan at prime time where college game day was and beating Michigan like that, and a big win for Oklahoma because of what's happened there the last couple of years. And for whatever reason, they have a game on their schedule where they travel to freaking Philly to play Temple on the road, laying about 26 points. And I believe they covered, right? I don't have the score right in front of me.
Yeah, it's 42-3.
Okay, yeah, they definitely covered.
Mm-hmm.
They covered. That Oklahoma defense, nasty again, man. Like I said, the Brent Venables is doing it again. I don't understand if he gets to be the head coach at Oklahoma for a long period of time, if he gets to stay there for a while, that dude should never, ever give up defensive play calling. Do what you do best, man.
Yeah.
And he's great at it. And I mean, obviously, Johnny Mateer, I mentioned a minute ago that Carson Beck's best quarterback in college football right now. To me, the person that can really challenge him for that at this very moment through 3 weeks into the season is Mateer. But Oklahoma's got a big one this week against a team that is we thought would be pretty solid going into this year with all the talent that they've actually got on their roster, that they were just this close last year to winning multiple other games. And because they went 5-7, everybody believes just because you're bad one year means you're going to be bad the next year, or just because you're good one year, that means you're going to be good the next year. And in the transfer portal era, that literally doesn't mean squat anymore. And so, yes, they play Auburn at home next week, and that's going to be a really, really good football game. The Jackson Arnold coming back to Norman playing against his old team game. That'll be a fun one. Number 9, Florida State, the Noles. And Florida State, obviously, I think they were off this past week. They had a bye week. They beat the brakes off of, whatever scrub they played last week. Beat Alabama week 1, played their butt off in that game in week 1. Just looked like a really good, well-coached, physical, fast, good football team that week. And if we're actually doing what we should do and not take preseason rankings into account and actually take what we've seen on the field, then Florida State should be a top 12 team in the country right now. So we've got Florida State at 9. And again, I think they have a dance with the Canes coming up here in a few weeks. And that'll be fun, man, to have both of those teams with a really good record with a lot on the line for that rivalry. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10, Texas. And this is another one that's polarizing, in my opinion, right now. They at least, like I said, week 1, they played somebody. I know you agree. They went on the road and played the number 1 team. We've got number 1 team, and the AP poll has number 1 in the Buckeyes. Had every chance to win that game. And played about as bad as you could play offensively, and Ohio State played as bad as great as you could defensively, and still Texas lost by 1 possession. But my problem with them is okay, they do have that loss. And you already know how I feel about that. Like, I'm not going to punish them a ton because they went and played Ohio State on the road. But the fact that now 2 weeks in a row, and especially this past week, I watched it with my own eyeballs. Arch Manning, dude, just does not look good right now. Let's just
Mm-mm.
call it what it is. Like I'm not piling up on him. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying that everybody was wrong, including us, that he was going to be a good quarterback this year. It's still early, but through 3 football games, he is not good right now. Like he's not even good. Like I wouldn't even call him, he's below average right now through 3 weeks. Can he get better and be great by the end of the year? Absolutely, he can. But Texas's defense is still real and still one of the best in the country, and they've still got plenty of weapons. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, they just haven't looked good. I mean, there's nothing else you can really say. Getting booed at home in your 3rd game as a starter, not great. um,
Yeah.
it just they haven't been impressive. They've got who do they got coming up here soon?
They got
I
Florida in
mean,
the swamp coming in a couple weeks.
Florida coming up in like 3 weeks. They got a couple games before that, but it is not much time for him to right the ship heading into SEC play. I don't care, what their schedule looks like. It just I don't know. I don't know if Sark needs to look at his play calling. I just don't know because you mentioned yesterday, man. Last year every scrub they played, like UTEP or San Jose State, they won by 40 points.
They scored in the 50s. They scored in the
Yeah.
50s last year against Colorado State. They scored in the 50s last year against, I think it was UTSA.
Mhm.
Their 3 scrub opponents that they played last year, they averaged over 50 points a game in those
Which is
3
wild
games.
because he started and played that UTSA game.
Yep.
So I don't know if UTEP's some sleeper or whatever, or
Yeah.
San Jose State's some sleeper, but whatever they're doing on offense this year, it's clearly not working. So they got to get it figured out quick.
Agreed. I want you to announce who we got at number 11.
Number 11, we've got the Doors, the Vanderbilt Commodores. Diego Pavia, I want to issue a public apology to you, sir. I doubted you. I doubted you. We doubted you. We took South Carolina -5, 5.5. Line was ticking in your direction all week. Got down to like 2.5, 3. I said, you know what? Let's stick with South Carolina -5. Like, I still think they can get it done. And I mean, from the get go last night, just they did work. Obviously, Lenore Sellers went out with an injury, but wasn't going to matter. 31-7 was the final, right? Or 34-7, something like that.
Yeah.
And so their last 6 quarters of football against 2 teams that met in the Aflac kickoff in Atlanta week 1, Virginia Tech and South Carolina. I believe, let's see, it was 27-0, 31-7, we'll call it. I mean, 58-7 in the last 6 quarters of football.
Yeah.
Against, again, Virginia Tech, we'll forget about it. South Carolina, we talked about it too going into that game. South Carolina was ranked 11th. Vandy was unranked.
At 9.
And again, yeah, and that line was telling you something. Yeah, Williams Bryce at night. Like, so if you look at Vandy's schedule, man, we could be looking at an undefeated Vanderbilt heading to Tuscaloosa in a couple weeks.
And I'll be at that game.
And you'll be at that game.
Yes, I will be at that game. So, yeah, that's that everything that you want to, whatever you think of Diego Pavia, but the things that you love about him, or that the video that went viral on the internet, they ran that reverse, and he's the lead block. I mean, I don't think it was
Mhm.
designed for him to be the lead blocker, but
Yep.
he's the lead blocker out front on the reverse. And most quarterbacks that do that, they just kind of get in the way. No, he was trying to inflict pain
Yeah.
on the defensive back, bro. Like, love it, man. Just again, go to war with that dude anytime.
Yep.
And I agree, dude. It's not just him, man. They're legit.
Yeah.
They're for real. They could play with a lot of team, which is why again we have them ranked 11th in the country right now. And at number 12, Illinois, they played some scrub this week, but we were lower on them going into the season. Just honestly, man, like at this point, I still think that they're shellacking of Duke. I know that Duke had some turnovers and all of that, and I know that all the the nerdy metrics that people want to throw out there would show that whatever that thing that comes out every week, that you really beat them as bad as whatever that it showed that Illinois really didn't beat Duke that bad. Like, I'm aware, I watched every second of that game with my eyeballs, that Duke made a ton of mistakes in that game. But guess who
Yeah.
didn't make a mistake? in that game? Illinois.
Yeah.
And when you've got a solid veteran football team with a QB that can make the throws and a hell of a head coach, and then you don't beat yourself and you don't make mistakes, you're going to win a lot of football games that way. It may not look as pretty as what Miami's doing right now, or it may not look as pretty as what some of these other teams are doing. That doesn't matter when it comes to ranking. Just win your freaking games, play teams that are solid, challenge yourselves. And that's what Illinois has done.
Yep.
So rounding out our top 12 here, I'll break it down. Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Miami 3, Georgia 4, Texas A&M 5, Oregon 6, Penn State 7, Boomer Sooner at 8, 9, Florida State 10, Texas, Vandy, the Doors at 11, and the Fighting Illini of Illinois at 12.
All right. You want to hear the AP poll?
I do.
You want to hear who dropped or who rose first?
Give me who dropped.
All right. South Carolina dropped from 11th to unranked.
Okay.
Clemson dropped from 12th to unranked.
Okay.
And South Florida dropped from 18th to unranked.
Unranked? They got South Florida unranked?
Unranked. They are
Okay.
second in other receiving votes, so they're ranked 27th.
Okay.
Oregon dropped a couple spots to number 6 from number 4, but that's just because Miami and Georgia rose up above them, so I get that. Florida State moved up 3 spots on a bye. So that's interesting.
So wait, they moved Miami up multiple spots because they beat South Florida, but they dropped South Florida completely out of the rankings.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. Okay. Interesting.
Texas dropped 1 spot to number 8. Poor play. Illinois stayed at 9.
Illinois at 9?
Illinois stayed at 9.
It stayed. I thought you said Illinois State at 9.
Nope. Illinois stayed at 9.
Okay.
Notre Dame. I don't know where Notre Dame is. Notre Dame is still ranked.
19.
Probably number 24. They dropped them 16 spots because of a botched snap. Do you think that's fair?
I would have them higher. I would have them around 18, 19. Like I haven't done mine yet. I would have them around that. I would have them probably around there.
Well, 18 is a newcomer to the poll, and that's Georgia Tech.
Good. They should be. They should be somewhere around there. Okay, where is Alabama even ranked?
Alabama's number 14. They moved up 5 spots over their massive cover over Wisconsin.
Hey, man, good teams win, great teams cover, Tyler. Come on now.
Yeah, Ole Miss, they covered. They moved up 4 spots. Iowa State, big win over Arkansas State, moved up to number 12, 2 spots. A&M moved up to 6 spots to number 10. Solid, I'll take that. Oklahoma moved up to number 11. Tennessee stayed at 15. Tennessee loses to Georgia at home in overtime. They stay at 15. Notre Dame drops 16 points, losing at home on a botched snap.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they should have dropped that far.
I mean, I get it. They're that's
They're
AP.
0-2. Yeah,
AP looks at records. I get it. We don't have Notre Dame anywhere near our top 12. I get that. I'm not advocating for them. Utah and Texas Tech up 4 spots to number 16 to 17. Big game coming up this weekend with them. Indiana moved up to number 19. Vanderbilt in at number 20. So there's another ranked opponent for your Crimson Tide there.
Vandy's at 20.
Vandy's at 20.
They should be higher, man.
I mean, when a team they beat fires their coach early, how good was that win, really, right?
Yeah.
Michigan moved up 2 spots, number 21. Auburn to 22. Missouri to 23. And last team coming into the poll at number 25, USC.
Finally, they ranked USC. Again, they haven't played really anybody. We're going to get to them here real soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that people need to really keep an eye on.
Yep.
Right now.
All right. Let's do a little guest spread before we get out of here. Let's start off with Illinois at Indiana. Prime time, 7:30 NBC in Bloomington.
I'll say Indiana is a 3-point favorite.
Indiana minus 3.5.
Okay, got the hook right now. Got the hook.
Yeah,
okay.
I believe it was started off at 2.5, and they've already been bet up.
Night game in Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
That's where game day should be this week, by the way.
Well, game day decided to travel down to Coral Gables and watch DJ Lagway play Carson Beck.
Yeah, I saw that, and I just they should be in Bloomington this week.
Yeah. Arkansas at Memphis.
Ooh. my family, the in-laws there in the
Yeah.
901 there, big Memphis Tiger fans. I'll say Arkansas -6.
Arkansas minus 5.5.
Ooh, I was right on it. Okay.
You're right on it.
Okay.
All right. Game day. Florida at Miami.
I believe the line ticked down, but I believe when it opened, LSU was around 8.5, 9. So I'm going to say it's around the same. I want to say it's around the same exactly what LSU opened at because I think LSU and Miami are probably power rated around the same. I would have Miami probably 10 to open up, but I'd say 8.5, 9 range.
Yep. It is Miami minus 8.5 currently as
Okay.
of Sunday.
That makes sense because again, that's LSU was that to start last week.
Yep. Another big matchup. Game day could have gone here too. Texas Tech at Utah. Big noon kickoff.
Oh man, we've been talking about this game since we talked with Josh Abbott.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh Abbott back during the summer. I'm excited to watch this one, bro. Is this
I mean,
the
10 a.m. local kick out in Salt Lake City.
hey man? Hey, let me promise you something. Nobody's probably happier about that than the Guns Up faithful to not
Yeah.
have to play that game in Rice Eccles at night.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch this one. It's going to be a good football game. I'll say Utah -3.5.
Utah minus 4.
Okay.
You've been within a half point of all these. You cheating?
How am I cheating?
You looking ahead? You cheating?
Oh no, I told you I only saw one line.
Yeah.
I told you that beforehand, and I'll just say what it is. The only line I looked at all was because our boy Freddie texted us, and I agree that spot was going to be perfect. Was Kansas and West Virginia because of West Virginia's big win in the backyard brawl. More on that here in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. Michigan at Nebraska.
Uh, this we're gonna pick them. Michigan won.
Michigan minus 2.5 right now. No Sharon Moore.
I know, man, but hey, whoever decided to break out the Bryce Underwood running the ball, your boy here was calling for it the whole time
I
against
think Biff. I
Oklahoma.
think Biff listens to ATB.
Yeah, I was going to say Biff. He might, man. He might. You know, we're kind of the people's champ, so
Yeah.
Biff may listen in and say, "Hey, we need to run this athlete, Bryce Underwood, more in a QB
Yeah.
run game." And they broke it out against the Chippewas.
Broke it out. Arizona State at Baylor.
Whoo!
7:30.
Good one. Hey, Big 12 Saturday. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be like that every week in that conference.
Yeah, we got games every week now in that conference.
Yeah.
Great game. I'll say Baylor minus 2.5.
Baylor minus 2.5.
2.5? All right.
Yeah. All right, last one. Auburn at Oklahoma.
I'll say Oklahoma minus 3.5.
Ooh, almost had the streak going. Oklahoma minus 5.5.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. Early bets. You mentioned Kansas hosting West Virginia. West Virginia 3-0 now. Well, Lance is 3-0 on the upset alert picks. We took West Virginia
We're gonna
on the
say
money
we,
line.
bro. We're partners here. We
Yeah.
are 3-0 on the year at ATB picking upset alert picks. We had South Florida plus 6.5 week 1 against Boise, wins outright. Mississippi State plus 7 week 2 against Arizona State, wins outright. And what happened this week?
West Virginia came back 10 down in the backyard brawl with all kinds of different guys playing quarterback. They win in overtime 31-24. Now they got to go on the road to face the Jayhawks. Coming off a bye and a loss against Mizzou. The line opened up at 10.5. I quickly grabbed 10.5, and it's already up to 11.5 now.
And I am with you. My first best bet of the week is the Kansas Jayhawks minus 11. I did not get it at 10.5 like you did. I got it at 11. So I'm with you. I just think the spot there is fantastic. Huge win for West Virginia over their bitter arch rival Pitt in the backyard brawl. Kansas off a bye. Kansas plays well at home. Leipold in that group with Jalen Daniels. I think Kansas gets it done and takes care of business against West Virginia. So I'm laying 11 points there. And honestly, as long as it stays under 2 touchdowns, I like Kansas in that game, period.
I got one more best bet for us here.
Okay.
I'm going to go just keep going against the trend, against the crappy offense, and I'm taking Syracuse plus 17 and a half at Clemson.
Why not?
Noon kickoff,
Yeah.
road team at noon. I love those in certain circumstances. Um, Two out of the last three have been one score games. Last time they lost a couple of years ago, it was a 17-point game. So they stayed within this spread three straight times. This is Fran Brown's first time playing them. He's obviously familiar with Clemson, from his time at Georgia, a couple games against them there. And yeah, just until maybe it's a get right spot and I get exposed and Clemson wins by 35. But just right now, I'm not seeing it. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on that train, try to get the early number at Syracuse plus 17 and a half. Got any more?
Nope. I'm all
Okay.
done. I'm all done, brother.
That's it for us today. It was a great week 3. Just tremendous amounts of fun and football, and it was just a blast to watch. And we hope every other week's like that. So obviously, we're going to be back on Wednesday and Thursday to preview week 4 for you. We've got a couple really good games we talked about already, a couple ranked matchups. Should be really, really good football. Obviously, every week's good football. Every Saturday the football's on is a good Saturday. So for Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Noe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.